Hello everyone, and welcome back to coverage of Grand Prix Yamabuki for the Revolution format. I'm Caillou, and today we're going to be watching the round 2 match between Admiral Ivy and Zangy, both of whom are on a deck that I think has affectionately started to be called Big Orange, which is basically Big Red but splashing a little bit of white in there for some of the format's premium removal, Banish to the Ice, and Event Horizon, as well as Amoret, the 4-mana Planeswalker that's taking the format by storm. So yeah, both these players on very similar lists. The main difference is that Zangy is on the full playset of Sermon of the Way, where the intended game plan is Sermon of the Way turn 3 into Merciless Shieldbreaker. You rust 2 of your opponent's permanents, and that usually have to be lands or cheap early aggro creatures at that point in the game. And it's very hard for them to recover from there because even if they remove the Merciless Shieldbreaker, they're going to lose like 1 to 2 lands and take a whopping 8 damage, which is usually enough tempo and life swing for Big Red to close out the game from there. So it looks like both players keeping 7, and Zangy does, again, like we mentioned, have Sermon of the Way into turn 3 Merciless Shieldbreaker if they hit a land drop. So we'll see how that goes. So Zangy not drawing a land there, which could be a little bit iffy if they want to. They're really relying on hitting a Sermon of the Way, or sorry, a land drop so they can Sermon of the Way next turn for their Merciless Shieldbreaker.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
did Zangy keep this on a mulligan?
no, Zangy kept this on a full 7. I think they were kind of.
Oh, okay.
I think
That's
they
a
were really
very
hoping.
it's a very ballsy keep.
Yeah, it's
Because I think you basically win or you basically live or die based on that one land draw, and now I think the game's pretty much over. Like I guess when Zangy does draw a land, like next turn,
yeah. I mean, if Zangy
maybe
draws a
it's
land next
okay.
turn, because
Yeah,
there
I'm
is
just
this
saying
there is this window here of like this turn all Ivy can do is Burning Dawn. If Zangy gets a land, they get their Merciless Shieldbreaker down, and then
yeah.
double pop Ivy's lands. Otherwise, next turn Ivy untaps, plays their own Merciless Shieldbreaker, and the game's over there. Ugh, yeah,
Oh.
and
Yeah, now at this
distinctly
point,
punished.
yeah.
Ugh, the dinkiest ferocious flame on
I
face.
mean, might
I
as
mean,
well.
you're gonna discard something, so might as well just do that. And this is
I don't think
definitely, I think,
holding up
kind
Event
of
Horizon
maybe
is
not the
gonna.
trouble, but I noticed this in because Zangy also had horrible land luck in our games, but I think it's really that like weirdly enough on like
I think
it
Ivy
really
throws
wants
a
to
put a
get to
counter
3 to
onto
play
that.
Climb to the Peak or Sermon,
Yeah,
and in early turns it kind of just is really relying on its removal to do anything.
Ivy
Yeah.
didn't put a counter. Kind of what?
Well, there's a land drop, but is it too little, too late? We'll see. So Sermon of the Way.
Okay, you're double here. Ivy probably this on lands, but I guess you could put the shield breaker and then trade.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, I
I
see
think
no
from
reason
Ivy's
not to do
perspective,
that.
you actually want to keep your lands here, but attacking with shield breaker is really devastating on lands. So, actually, no. I think you just put two counters on 2 of your lands. You untap, you sand scald the shield breaker, and now Zangy is going to lose land next turn. Puts you up much more ahead. So I don't block here.
Okay, that's a fair assessment.
Okay, so I mean now if you block, like okay, yeah, yeah, I think now from this point, like Zangy's kind of done their worst already. Feel like should play the Beloved Chapel tapped here. Well, I guess you could play the Mountain if you wanted to banish it.
Yeah, which seems to be what Ivy's thing plays the
Yeah,
mountain.
that's actually fine. Well, see, the thing is, like, if you play the Beloved Chapel here, then you could Burning Dawn. You could invoke the Burning Dawn next turn.
Well, not actually, because you lose the lands first.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's true.
Mm. So
Okay.
tax on the
So
shield
Zangy
breaker.
chooses to keep the shield breaker around. It's probably fine.
So
What?
this is a weird ass play.
Oh, I'm very
I'm
disappointed.
why not
Just
just
sand scalped.
yeah just sand scalp?
Ah, oh, that's
I don't think it
bad.
matters that
That's
much
real bad.
because I mean it was okay.
No, I mean, well, it
Zangy
matters a
could
lot
draw
though. The
another
difference
land
is
and then climb to the peak or something.
okay.
But
So I guess you're just
oh no,
saying, yeah,
Burning
I just
Dawn.
want to aim this sand scald at face, but like you have a burning dawn. I guess it honestly doesn't. I just feel like I don't know.
I mean, yeah,
But your game's
it
basically
was just
over.
like push your advantage. Like, why not?
This is pushing your advantage, but in a way that you're just kind of burning through your.
No, I'm saying push your advantages and like keep the shield breaker around.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They,
Shieldbreaker will probably represent the same amount of damage as the Sand Scald, at least. Uh, okay,
well,
so
there's
Zangy
3
plays
more
Climb to the Peak,
lands.
which kind of makes sense because you want to dig for more lands. Is the game over? No.
Weirdly,
If
this is
there's
so
no way
weird.
this game can can end.
No, this game, I think the
Oh no,
game,
you just stand scaled face and then
yeah, you
just
stand
don't
scale
press.
face
Yeah.
and then the land pops and Zangi's done. So this is over. Okay. Ooh, Shield Breaker is a silly, silly
This
card.
this mirror is quite interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting because Zangy was saying earlier, I think that this what is it? I think this matchup is going to be heavily favor whoever goes first. So good luck on the coin flip. But I think
Yeah.
it that's true, but it also heavily favors whoever can land a shield breaker first because the deck is super mana hungry and taking out even one of its lands is just such a death sentence.
It's just hilarious how much actual damage output the deck has.
Uh-huh.
Like it can just totally chunk you out.
Yeah, this is like under and under I don't know because there's a pause in the middle while we waited for you to come on commentary, but this
Yeah.
I think this is looking like a 5 minute game, something like that.
Yeah, I mean the
So,
players played pretty quickly too. That's something.
yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean I think the sermon Shieldbreaker interaction is should probably be running more. I think I would actually like to see people think Zangy's
No, I think
um
no, no, no. I think Zangi's running the full playset and Ivy's running too.
Zangy's running 4. Okay, I think that's troll. Or I don't. I think if you're running 4, oh wait, Zangy's running Warpath Minotaur too, right?
Yeah, Zangi's running
Oh,
two
okay.
Warpath Minotaur
Okay, then
and one of the thing that when it dies,
that's
destroys a land.
defensible. Then. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. Okay, so should we talk sideboards?
I mean, they're already going into it. So, and I think their
Oh, okay.
sideboards are like pretty. Like the main thing is cheap removal for Shield
Is
Breaker,
Zangy
but
gonna keep this hand too?
Jesus Christ. I mean, do it, do it. You won't. You won't. Zangi's like this deck pains me so much. What's the harm? Come on.
How many lands does Zangy's deck run?
I don't know. This is so weird because like in because I played Zangy round one,
Mm-hmm.
and Zangy also got severely mana screwed both games they lost.
I kind of feel like Big Red should be on 20.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. It should like it desperately wants to hit the third land drop. It in most cases will be starving for that fourth land drop as well.
Okay, Zangy decides he got punished game 1, so he doesn't want to
Mulligans
risk
into
it.
another two lander, and at this point,
I
yeah,
mean,
you
this
just keep-
hand is definitely
it's
not
fine.
as good.
You
as the
probably
7.
you probably bottomed the sermon. I mean, having repeatable red mana is probably good for not accidentally just like locking yourself out of the game. To be fair,
Yeah, yeah.
like I think if the Abena excavation was even a mountain there, I think that the seven would have been a pretty keepable.
I think so. I
Bottom's
feel
the
like
ferocious
if Zangy was
flame.
willing to keep in the first game, it's probably better to just do. Like, you should stick to your guns if you think that was the.
Well, I
or
mean,
maybe
I think
Zangy.
Zangy, from what Zangy said, like the lands were both colorless effectively is what changed
I
their
guess
opinion.
so, but I don't think that really changes because like you lose the game regardless if you don't draw a land, and you're not going to draw, or like it's very unlikely that you. So
That's
I don't
fair.
really think that's okay. So Zangy hits the third land drop, and you just cast Climb to the Peak.
Yep.
Turn
Get
3
that
Climb to the
card
Peak on the
damage.
play is a big deal. Although I think Ivy's also, so it's just going to kind of be a barrage of haymakers.
Yeah, and unlike Zang, well, I was about to say unlike Zangy, Ivy has a shield breaker, but hitting a shield breaker off of the climb to the, but doesn't have the fourth land, so won't be able to play it on curve unless they top deck a land.
Is this the most Timmy Revolution,
The most Timmy Revolution deck,
or
That's-
is that the GC?
I mean, I would also say like Naya mid range is pretty like I feel like Wilderkin is the most like no you play fair me big boy kind of card in the
I
form.
guess. Yeah. Wildekin's definitely a very Timmy creature.
Yeah, I think that like
The rest of Naya doesn't really feel like. It feels like mana dorks don't really feel like Timmy to me. You know.
that's fair.
I guess it's kind of a subject.
I mean, I think Big Red does run the most number of haymakers. That is pretty fair. Like you have the Burning Dawn flip, you have Amulet, you have Solara, you have Merciless Shieldbreaker, but they're all
Every
kind of like
card just
middle
feels so
size.
punchy.
Yeah, okay, it is a very
Yeah.
punchy deck, but
And you're not running like it kind of it feels like it abandons one of the core tenets of play, which is like you need to run a bunch of like cheap cogs to try to protect yourself from low to the ground strategies, and Big Red's just like no.
I mean, to be fair, it does have
All
like
three
it is running white for
I mean,
Banish
you
the
got
Eyes, Event
Ferocious
Horizon.
Flame, and
Yeah. Like, but it does also run like it has the Sand Scald, it has the Burning Dawns removal, which is otherwise clunky, but when you're dealing like 8 to face off of a Merciless Shieldbreaker, quite good.
So yeah, picking Shieldbreaker here makes sense. You can actually cast it here from the Sermon
Sermon.
Away in hand.
I forgot about the sermon. Yeah, never mind. So, just windmill slams that.
This is
To be fair, it doesn't say non-enchantment permanent. Yeah, I was about to say just drop it on the climb to
yeah.
the peak.
I mean, putting it on climb, it won't actually. You'll still take the 4.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's that or lose
At
2
least,
lands.
at least Ivy does have a. It's definitely
Ivy has a
not losing
plethora of
land is a
removal
big deal.
spells. Yeah.
Okay, so
You probably just play the Burning Dawn
it's
off
kind
of
of
the
odd
climb.
where you didn't hit any lands off the climb.
I mean, still has 3 lands and isn't the
So
worst.
I think you should name Burning Dawn here and just a Shield Breaker.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you want to get attacked by Zangy's also much lower overall, so
I mean,
like, you
Zangy
can
also
afford to
has
one.
a full ass climb to the peak with Amaret on it.
yeah,
So-
I mean, like I feel like you can afford to 1-for-1 though. Like you don't have to try to race here, especially since
Oh yeah, no. Like I think playing Burning Dawn here is definitely the right play. It's just
what do you think
I
about
don't think
playing
that
this mountain untapped instead?
I disagree.
Like
Your ferocious flame
what
is not going to
scenarios
kill
do
anything.
you want Ferocious Flame up here?
Literally only if they have a firebug, and even if they have a firebug in hand, they would never play it because they have Amaret. Like
Yeah.
and why would they even bring in firebug out the side?
So Ivy forgot to
Does it matter that much? Oh, okay. It's actually just going to play the ferocious
Yes.
flame on face.
I guess it'll just die next turn.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you main phase this?
Yeah, I'm confused about these decisions, but okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, if you're gonna hold it up, at least hold it up. Especially since
Zangy,
next
I think
turn you have-
Zangy's eyeing Sermon of the Way into Warpath Minotaur, especially
Oh,
since
that
they haven't.
Sermon of the Way draw is.
Yeah, because they have Armored in hand already. So
I think this is better than.
yeah, because you hit for 5, you draw a card.
And imagine if that Ferocious Flame was still in hand, then Ivy could just go play my 4-drop, kill your Minotaur. Like, it's bad.
And speaking of Ferocious Flame, kill your 4-drop. Zangy grabbing it off the journey and can now has the mana up to immediately bedoink something. That's actually the literal perfect draw because they have no other cards in their deck they could play.
That is definitely. So Ivy's gonna take
4 damage on. It's just gonna immediately run it out and phase. What is with main phasing these?
People love main phase. So, okay, I don't think there's a technically if you let Ivy untap, then Ivy could have an instant.
Yeah, but in response
he's
to the
just gonna
removal spell,
skip.
you just ferocious flame their
Yeah.
face. So.
No,
But anyway.
well, if you try to cast Ferocious Flame later, they could respond to the.
Oh, okay, that's what you mean. Okay, that makes sense. But yeah, Ivy's just gonna concede there, and
I
yeah.
guess actually the flame line wouldn't have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that game was just Sermon of the Way diff.
Yeah, Sermon of the Way again. Like, turns out rituals are pretty good
That's
at
not
doing.
the reason why. That's not the reason why you.
I mean, no, like
It's not because it's a ritual. It's because
the haste
because
is very
creatures
important.
that really work well with the haste part.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's not
And
broken because it's a ritual.
I don't. And
It's
I'm not
also
saying it's broken. I'm not saying it's broken by
Yeah.
any means, but I'm saying that like the reason to run rituals in constructed is for effects like that, right? Where you're like the. Otherwise, it's
I mean,
just
the
kind
card
of,
would.
especially because like
The
we
card would
don't.
be terrible if it wasn't haste.
Oh yeah, I think that all I'm saying is that like the ability to get that tempo up over your opponent is like super huge, especially for a
Yeah,
deck.
in this case, the haste is essentially getting you back the card parity when you put it on
Mhm.
on the shield.
When you put it on Shieldbreaker and when you put it on a Warpath Minotaur, since it has a journey anyways, you're getting the card
Yeah.
back. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm
I feel like-
really not saying like
Yeah,
done
that's
ritual,
sorry.
but-
I was just referring to. I feel like Ivy's been making some misplays with like land sequencing. Just like I guess you could say you're bluffing the. You're
much
bluffing the
slower
banish
game
of the
right
ice.
now. Zangy drawing
Yeah.
triple Sandscald. You probably just run one out right now on face. Next turn, Ivy untaps, plays a hard cast Shieldbreaker.
Yeah, this matchup is basically like the burn mirror. Everything's
Chonky burn.
interesting. So should you play here? Probably.
Yeah, I think it's
I think dropping
Shieldbreaker.
here.
And then
He's pretty much forced to respond by
untap
Sandscalding
Sandscald.
it.
Yeah.
Sermon here is a good draw if Zangy finds the other piece.
So you could
Um,
Sermon into Solara and then -4, but that seems a little funky. I don't know how much I love.
That's a pretty loose line. I don't think it's
Yeah, I
like
think
using
you'd much rather
your
save
life.
the Sermon for
Yeah.
a creature if you top deck it. And Sandscald just deals with a Shieldbreaker anyways.
yeah, I agree. Zangy gonna Amaret that line.
Yeah, don't waste your Amaret on.
I feel like Emra is much better as
So yeah, Sandscald coming out.
I'm pretty sure that shouldn't be.
Okay, so think if you're Ivy, you just keep up the pressure. You play the Warpath Minotaur.
Yeah, probably. I mean, you could drop Peak here.
Mhm. One thing I was thinking is that like if you draw another land next turn, you can climb to the peak plus
You
Burning
want to get the
Dawn.
double play.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think
and just like getting the board presence in,
mhm.
just like yeah, Warpath coming down.
It's interesting. I'm wondering what you think about this. I feel like I'd like to see some of the big red decks splashing black for it.
I think that
Um,
I okay this I almost feel like I don't know like I don't know that Onagul is that hmm. Because
the main
Onagul is
thing for
dope, but and is
yeah
definitely really good in the meta right now. But I
yeah
kind of almost wonder if like at that point, just go like switch to because if you're playing you either play Solara and commit to black red, and then you get access to stuff like Mercalt, which is
hmm
really good at like stabilizing games, or just go like or take out the Solaras and just go full like Mardu mid range
I don't
kind of
think
thing.
you have to splat. I don't think you have to take out the if you just stick to like you can afford to switch out some of the colorless lands like cut Starved Oasis and you can probably go.
That's right. Again,
And the
and
reason
like
why I
I'm
feel
not a
so
mana
strongly
based
about
person.
yeah well the reason I feel strongly about Anagul in this meta is just I feel like 5 tough plus you're guaranteed one its
Plus,
hand
it
and it
takes
comes with
out
instant Brave Hate.
yeah, one of the main ways to like just close out games, Burning Dawns, just yoink them.
Yeah, it's a very good anti-burning. And I always love playing with Ravenous Rats, like the chunkiest Ravenous Rats ever. Yeah.
Ravenous Ape.
Yeah. Okay, so Zangy's gonna cast Amrit here. Makes sense.
Yeah, and speaking of
Okay.
5 toughness, um, the 5 loyalty that Amrit gets here, so huge.
Yeah. So Ivy's got an interesting choice. Turn you can either take the guaranteed and like double burning Dawn the Amrit, or you could get Alder Peak Terror and eat the Cleric.
And then poke Amrit for,
Yeah.
I don't know. I,
What would you? You can also play your own Amrit, but I
is
don't really
there,
like that play as much.
is there a Starved Oasis line?
No, I don't think. I think I
I
actually don't agree with the Alder pick. I think I would rather just like you want to keep developing your mana because I
hmm
feel like this matchup like allows you to just like tempo positive cards available because
hmm
of the climb to the peak, and your cards are generally going to be
hmm
mana intense. So
Yeah.
I feel like not only do you get the Amaret off the board, but you also can get 2 burns. So I just
Yep.
I don't know. I feel like I would go for the double burn.
Maybe a stupid play that I was thinking of is like, you Sermon of the Way, Starved Oasis, Burning Dawn, but then you really just
Mm-hmm.
lose the Sermon of the Way, so really no point in that.
Yeah, that's true.
You lose the Sermon. I guess you lose the Sermon of the Way, but you save the Burning Dawn for another threat. So
Yeah. Okay, so we've got Burning Dawn here targeting Alder Peak Terror.
that's Zangi's first Burning Dawn. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, and then pokes in with an Armored Cleric.
Yeah, so now Ivy will probably need to spend at least 3 mana to kill this Amret, and because she didn't get a land play last turn, she actually won't be able to play. Oh, the Shieldbreaker.
The
Here
Shieldbreaker is kind of snasty here. You Sermon of the Way.
So you can grab a land, you can go up to 7, which can both play Shieldbreaker and cast it.
Yeah, and I think the 3 mana spell is probably just you. You can Dawn Face there, or you could save Banish to the Ice and not get. Does banishing the Burning Dawn token actually help at all? I don't know how timing rules work, but would you still take the 4 if you exile the token in response to the ETB?
Wait, sorry, can you repeat your question? I think I missed that.
Oh, sorry. I was on the assumption that Zangy would play the Burning Dawn flipped if you banish to the ice the token in response to the ETB.
So
Will it just use
it
last
will,
remembered
it
info?
will still do 4 damage if you
Okay.
kill the token in response. If you kill the token using -X, then it will not do 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
That is
still
my
holding up the banish to
understanding.
the ice. It looks like play
Also,
the
if you
Wind
kill
Beam
if you kill the enchantment in response, then it will not.
So smart move for
Burning Dawn does
Zangy
have some.
is probably to put the counters on Amrit right now because very obviously it's
Yeah,
gonna die.
you should. Yeah, so putting it on the land.
Put
Okay.
okay. I mean,
Honestly, I think Zangy should have just put the counters on the cleric.
you
I don't
put it
think
on.
that's
I mean,
the
put you
cleric's
put it
gonna
on
do
the
anything.
cleric and Amrit, and then you keep your mana so that you can.
Yeah.
Oh boy, that
Yeah,
might
I think
actually
that's-
be that might
It's
be
a
the
pretty big blunder from Zangy. Losing
that could
2
actually
whole
be a
lands
punt.
is,
That's like a game losing punt, and oh no, you don't want more
agree.
sermons.
I agree. Okay, well,
You probably play Solara -4.
yeah, you're essentially sacrificing 2 lands and paying extra 4 life just to keep that 1/1.
Though,
Okay, so you
so
probably you need
Zangi's
to.
actually might be thinking like I only have 1 turn to play this Burning Dawn. Maybe I should just do that this turn. But then
If you're gonna do that, then you shouldn't. You
no,
shouldn't
I'm
target
saying
the
like
cleric if
like
you're planning on-
okay after the fact. Okay, he's gonna play Solara. I guess you can chain double Sermon of the Way next turn to play the Burning Dawn thing from grave, but man, at
I
that point,
guess. I feel like now Ivy's got this game unlocked
which is wild
or
considering how it
unlocked.
was going.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so
like
Ivy's gonna get the right here.
yeah, you armor it -1, poke Solara, and then you still have Banish to the Ice up. Seems solid.
Amret's gonna grab the cleric that Amret makes is gonna grab the Starved Oasis.
Wait, does
Again, just getting developing mana here.
mm. Oh, you're saying like cleric hit face Solara doesn't really do anything? I don't know. No.
Yeah, I would rather just cast the Amret here, especially since if you don't cast it now, you won't be.
No. Yeah, I mean obviously cast the Armored, but then if you poke Solara with
You
armor,
could.
if you poke
You
Solara,
could
you don't
just.
journey. Okay, it's gonna downtick for 1 to kill.
Wait, why
To
would you
kill.
downtick?
In case Zangy has a ferocious flame.
I guess I don't. I feel like the threat of Solara +1 bad.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that -1ing Amret puts her in reach of actual.
Thing is going to animate Starved Oasis from the lands, which
But I mean, now you
pretty
now
heads
you
up
go
play
down to
from
10,
Zangy. Yeah, kind of need to.
and then is Zangy? Let's play a game. Is Zangy just dead next turn? Yes, they are just dead next turn. Double Burning Dawn plus Amret downtick just kills.
Amret's going to die here.
Oh, Amret dies because Starved Oasis. Okay, that's smart. Never mind. Oh wait, no, Banish the Ice.
Vanish
Aha!
dies. All right. Yeah, GG.
That's game. And yeah,
So, I don't think Zangy would have won this game anyway.
yeah,
I do think that was a pretty massive one where he put where they were the shield breakers.
yeah. And I mean,
Yeah, I really
and
talked
that,
about
like you're like what we were saying, the Sermon of the Way is coming back to bite Zangy because he has like so many. Like I think the thing with Big Red is you have so many haymakers. Like literally every card in your deck is either removal, haymakers, or land, except for Sermon. And you trade off that everything's a haymaker for that A+B, and that just came back to bite him. Though Ivy might let Zangy live another turn.
Honey?
I think Ivy missed.
Oh, she just
Oh, okay.
All right, we're in the business of.
I mean, I don't think Zangy has anything to.
No, I mean this game's 100%.
Because you just reanimate a Burning Dawn, and
Yeah.
that's bada bing, bada boom.
Oh, wants to cast the Walker.
What? What? Huh?
I don't know.
Ivy, you have lethal. Check the life totals. Oh.
Ivy's going for maximum BM.
Well, okay, they do have 3 mana now to Burning Dawn. Watch, you're gonna.
Ivy wants to end the game with Solar. That's my headcanon.
That would be insane. I've never seen a Solara alt happen.
People are usually dead by then.
Yeah, you usually loot into a card that can actually kill. Well, okay. Mm-hmm.
All right, cast the sermons for style points.
Well,
I don't know.
Well, you have you can cast the sermons for style
I mean,
points.
you can just
Bring back Dwagon.
get the invoke. I guess Zangy doesn't know that he actually.
No, he knows because there's a Burning Dawn engraven and Amulet on board.
Oh yeah, no. All right.
But like I mean, Ivy misplayed last turn, so.
Yeah, this game's been a bit of a fiesta. Not gonna lie.
But now, okay, you have the burn in hand, Ivy. 4 plus 2 equals 6, which is greater than 5. Come on, I believe in you. Okay, Ivy does burn Amulet out for face damage.
Hey, there it is.
There it is.
We got there.
Whew. And yeah, in a tight mirror,
We
Ivy
got
takes a
there.
2-1 over Zangy. Whew.
Ugh,
Yeah.
that was.
That was certainly a set.
This mirror.
It's kind of amazing magic. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind like because it's still very interactive, right? Because you have all of this like.
Yeah, it's like you have answers for everything. You're usually like there isn't one card that'll like automatically win the matchup. Like Amulet's kind of close. Climb to the Peak is kind of close.
I mean, I think Sermon plus Shieldbreaker because
I will say if one player has Climb to the Peak on curve, player with Climb to the Peak is probably gonna win.
yeah, because again, it's
yeah.
just a card advantage in mid-range principle. Wait, what is this? Caillou can disagree with me if they want, but I felt it is the strongest thing possible going Sermon into Shieldbreaker.
Oh, I think Zangy's defending his.
Oh.
From game 1.
No, I agree. I think that like Zangy just got.
I think that keep is fine.
Yeah,
Probably.
Zangy just got what the kids call hilariously unlucky 3 games in a row.
I don't. Okay, I just think that like. So my criticism is I don't.
And by
think
3 games in a row, I mean the 2 games we played and in game 1, not the 3 games we said. Anyways, go ahead.
No, I just think if you keep that hand in game 1, the hand in game 2 is functionally identical. So I don't think you should mulligan if you thought that it was the best hand. You know what I mean? Like I don't think the excavation, like not having a mountain, is enough reason to change to deviate from your strategy.
Mhm.
And if you legitimately think like, oh, that was the wrong thing to do, then fine. But I feel like people will often be like, okay, this thing didn't work out game one, so I'm going to change my strategy. When in reality, you should just stick to your guns if you thought that was the,
Fair, fair.
if that makes
And
any
I
sense.
think the point of like if you don't draw your third land, you're screwed anyways. And like if you do draw it, there's such an overwhelming chance that it's a red land that it kind of doesn't
Yeah,
matter. That's a But
yeah.
yeah, and I think with that, unfortunately, Zangy is out of the running for top X, but Ivy is still
Oof.
kicking 1-1 going into round three. I think we have a bunch of
But
other like Big Red. I think is the far and away the most popular deck
it's
this
interesting
tournament.
because it hasn't been doing that.
I think it has like a good conversion rate. It
No,
gets
I
into
don't think
top
so.
egg.
No, I'm just talking about this tournament. I think there's only one big red deck that hasn't lost a match yet.
Yeah, Berglund is.
Yeah, so I feel like I would have expected more. Like maybe they're just getting a bunch of mirror matches.
I think it's that the format is getting a lot grindier, and I think Big Red kind of it it really weirdly it preys on the aggro decks a lot, where it's just like
Hmm.
I have like this cheap removal, and then it's like I play the Omret, and it's like fuck you basically. The
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that like
Um,
in like a lot more mid-range mirrors, it's not disfavored in mid-range. You still have climb to the peak. You still have like these haymaker threats. It's just that suddenly you're fighting on a lot more like mano a mano type thing. I
yeah,
think.
and one thing that I think that'll be pretty interesting is I feel like obviously we don't know what exactly is going to come in yet, but
Nudge, nudge,
I feel
wink,
like
wink.
I mean I feel like Sand Scald is actually losing that is going to lose make the deck lose
Hmm.
like now that
For
you
sure.
know like 8 pack of charge.
Hmm.
So I think that the deck may move a little bit or perhaps become a little less viable depending on what.
And like you said, might splash colors for and like morph.
Yeah, I am very high on Anagul.
I think Onagal like I think it really is that like it hasn't seen much play because Trezak and Mercult are so attractive in black, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you're right about the 5 toughness threshold being super relevant uh, in the mirror versus these 4
Yeah,
damage spells.
I just feel like
And then
the
like
reason
the
why I'm so
Grave
high on
X also.
Anagul is I feel like it's so rich.
Hmm.
Like it's just got such a consistent level of like sometimes threat hard to cast. You know, you can't afford to pay to life stuff like that. And Miracult like unless you're an aggressive deck, sometimes Miracult's not going to be enabled. So lifelink beat stick.
But yeah,
So yeah, I don't know. I
but
think
I
it's
think in
definitely an
general
interesting
what you're speaking
conversation.
to is that like there are a
Yeah,
lot of even outside of rotation,
yeah,
the balance changes that have been made have had like a rippling effect throughout what people are trying and working with this
mm-hmm.
GP, and
Yeah,
hopefully they'll continue like because there's so much that is still unexplored even in the sets that are already in version. So hopefully we get
yeah.
more iteration on that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I think that's all I wanted to talk before we head off.
no, I think that's good.
Cool.
So thanks for
All right.
joining me,
Thanks, Kai.
Dodger. And until next round, this is Caillou and Dodger signing off.